I want to talk to you today about the three circles. Now, these three circles are important because it helps you in the setup of whatever you're about to do. And I'm a strong believer in how you set something up is critical. The preparation you do ahead of time of the work that you do when you're working with people, when you're working with churches in transition, when you're working with someone that is stuck and they want to go somewhere. So these circles can help you think about what you need to think about, if that makes sense. And there is a particular order that's very important. So the three circles are very simply these. You need to figure out who are the right people that will help you with whatever task or whatever project or whatever assignment you're working on. You need to figure out what's the process. So how are you going to travel from point A to point B? And then you also need to understand the purpose, or what's the goal? What are you trying to accomplish? And this, what I want to say now, is the thing I want you to remember. The most important part of this is to understand the order that you do this in. Sometimes what people do is they see a situation and they go to their toolbox and they figure out, okay, we have a conflict here. So let me go to my toolbox and find a process for how I'm going to resolve this conflict. Wrong answer. You do not start with process. You do not start with answering this question, how do we get what we want? You start with determining the purpose of what exactly you're doing and answering that why. This is the question that you start with when you start with the congregation in transition, when you start dealing with a new goal or a new aspect of the ministry that you're working on, is that you start with determining the purpose. Now, you may have already some people that are helping you determine that. So the placement of the people can vary, but definitely what you want to keep in mind is that you need to start with determining purpose. What result do we want to create? So, for example, a church that's in transition that you are going to work with, for example, if you are a transitional leader, you don't start with pulling out all of your tools and saying, well, we're going to start with closure and this and that, because you're starting in the wrong circle. You need to ask whoever you're working with, and you usually start with the leaders. What results do we want to create here throughout our transition? Another way I've described that is you need a transition vision. You need the purpose for why we're bothering with this well-designed, intentional transition that I will be taking you through. And then that creates this pull towards a positive future, to that place where God wants you to be. So start with purpose. What results we want to create, have that conversation, figure out who are the best people to help you accomplish that purpose. And these can maybe be happening sort of simultaneously. How do we get to where we want to go? How do we get to this result? So go ahead and mull that over a little bit. Consider how that fits in with your current practices. Do you tend to start with how? Or do you consistently start with what? What result do we want to create? And then you find the process and the people to help you get there. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you've experienced these three circles, how they've been helpful for you. And I look forward to talking to you again real soon.